the Dawgs Podcast with your hosts, Blake Reneker, Justin Charles, and Josh All.
Hey, what's up, Browns fans? Welcome back to another episode of the Dawgs Podcast. Josh All, Kenny Mack, and we've got Dog Pack Discord live for you guys tonight. We've got the audience filling up. Good to see everybody here on a Monday evening, and hopefully some more people come piling in as well. We got some news to talk about today. The Browns made their first, it was their first offseason acquisition. Today, they traded for an offensive lineman, so the O-line rebuild overhaul is underway. 1 down, 4 to go. So we'll talk about that guy here in just a couple minutes. If you guys want to, if you're listening to this after the fact, you want to be part of these Dog Pack Discord live episodes, get in here, hang out with everybody in the Discord, join thedogs.com. It's a great place to be. Awesome conversations, and when stuff like today happens, you instantly have a place to go where you can be chatting and hanging out with everybody talking about this breaking news that we got today. So, the NFL Combine was the last, 3-4 days last week and everything like that. They had all their interviews, their on-field drills, and of course, all the NFL teams are there together in Indianapolis. And that's where Andrew Berry does a lot of his work every year, seems like. He's out there meeting with everybody. It's kind of where he laid the foundation for the big Travis Hunter trade back and everything last year with the Jaguars. And less than 24 hours after the NFL Combine wraps up, here we are Monday morning, and the Browns have made a trade. They have sent their first pick in the 5th round, which was pick 139, to the Houston Texans in exchange for right tackle Tytus Howard. He is 29 years old. He's about to turn 30 in May. 6'5", 322 pounds. The Texans took him in the first round, 23 overall in 2019. He's out of Alabama State. And he's been a starting offensive lineman for the Texans since he was drafted. So he's a 7-year veteran starter. He started pretty much all across the offensive line. Most of his snaps have been at right tackle, but he has played the second most snaps at left guard, actually. And he's also played some left tackle and right guard in there as well, just no center play for him. But the Browns get a versatile offensive lineman, primarily a tackle, and it has begun. Like I said, the offensive line overhaul is underway. So, Kenny, what are your thoughts here? And then anybody who wants to come up on stage and talk with us, just get your hands up down there in the audience and we'll bring you up. But what are your thoughts, Kenny, on Tytus Howard?
Yeah, I like it. It was surprising for me. It's something that I didn't see coming along. He's 93-game starter. I don't know if you mentioned that point, but with the injuries on our offensive line, they've been super tough to watch because of the guys coming in and out. Clearly, the guys that are replacing our starters aren't good, and this guy is a guy that starts all the time, and that's something that we really want. Having a first-round pick that you can get anytime on your team is fantastic. So between the durability, the experience, the multiple positions you mentioned, and I think you mentioned this earlier on one of your other content things for the podcast, but the fact that he's at a right tackle, but he has that 1,900 snaps at left guard, that kind of took me by surprise too. I didn't know he played more or that many snaps at that position. And so I don't know, maybe he's going to be a guard. I think he'll probably be a tackle. I don't know if it's something that kind of spelling the writing on the wall for Joel Bitonio. But I like the fact that he's got a great passing rating, 77.1 PFF. I was just a little concerned that he's kind of a below average run blocker. And I thought that's where Switzer would want, but I guess it's Schweitzer now from what I've heard on Cleveland Browns Daily, the way you pronounce our offensive coordinator. So somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I think I heard the other day. And so I thought we're going to be looking more for run blockers, but hey, at the end of the day, it's an athletic guy. He's a veteran. He can stabilize one position for us. Probably it's going to be right tackle. So I'll love it.
Yeah, everybody was posting like the PFF grades last year online, and so I obviously hopped on board and put it together as well. Tytus Howard, like you said, a 77.1 pass blocking grade. I think among tackles with, 1,000 plus snaps last season, he's in like the top 10, I think. grade wise. So we were getting
I
a
think
very
he's I thought he was 17.
17. Okay. Well, we're getting a proven pass blocker, which I mean, we desperately need. If you look at like KT Leviston was at a 43.3 pass blocking grade. And then you had Cam Robinson on the other side was a 56.2. They were terrible. Absolutely terrible. He's very similar in the run blocking grade to Cam Robinson. Then obviously Leviston was a decent run blocker for us last year. But I mean, it doesn't really matter when the quarterback can't do anything. We saw what it's like when the pressures are just in the face of the QB and, you know, the offense struggles so much. I was looking at Tytus Howard, 26 pressures last year. That's it. And the biggest thing for me, he didn't give up a sack all season. He played in every game, as far as I can tell, or almost every game. Yeah, 696 pass blocking snaps. He had 1,162 total snaps. No sacks. Like, to me, that's impressive.
The thing that I'm kind of a head scratcher for me is, I mean, I don't watch the Houston Texans. But this sounds like one of their better offensive linemen, if it's not their best offensive lineman. Correct me if I'm wrong, but don't they have offensive line issues? They didn't want to pay their guy. Are they in cap hell or something? I don't know, because like somebody tell me if they are, because it seems like they're losing out on a decent guy unless they really, really want a run blocker. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, as far as I can tell, and again, I don't follow the Texans, and I don't know their cap situation. I know that they stand to gain some cap space by this trade. I think it's only like $4 million or something, but he's on the last year of his deal there. So to me, this one really reminded me of what the Browns did with Jerry Jones and Amari Cooper, right? So we went to a team that had a good asset. I mean, Amari Cooper was still a good wide receiver when we traded for him. He was getting a little older last year of his deal. There was cap, on the books for the Cowboys that they wanted gone. We took him. And then we, gave him that extension when we traded for him and everything. It's kind of the same thing we did here, because I didn't mention that. We did extend Howard as soon as we traded for him. So we gave him a 3-year extension worth $63 million. I haven't seen the guaranteed portion of that yet or anything, but that's kind of the overall scope of the contract. So they traded for him, locked him into place. It would only cost us a 5th-round pick. I mean, to get started on the offensive line overhaul, not a big cost to begin.
Yeah, I mean, we know what Barry likes to do with fifths. You mentioned Judy. There's Za'Darius.
Yep.
He seems to like to move those 4 prime football guys, man, like guys that are vets.
Yeah, and he likes the expiring contract. So those are the types of things that, I mean, we've done free agent previews and stuff. That's kind of what we look for. Who's on an expiring contract? What team is set to gain some cap space? If they trade this guy, maybe they're not going to extend him. And that's the situation we ran into today with Tytus Howard. And, with his alignment versatility, where he can play different, spots on the line, I think that just gives us a little more flexibility to going in. We got free agency starts a week from today, guys, as the legal tampering period opens up. So we're coming into it quick here. We're going to start getting some hot and heavy news. This team's after this guy. The Browns are signing this guy. It's the Browns and these teams after him. Like, it's coming, and I'm excited for it. And I hope we come away with the guys we need to get this offensive line back in shape, because it is not right now.
Yeah, and we were talking about this in the Discord today, and my only surprise was the 3 years at 63, because I didn't want to sign the guy from Green Bay for that kind of money, but clearly this guy's a lot better rated, number one. Number two, I guess my whole thing is I was shocked with the dollar amount, but I guess I just want to know, because I guess I'm just kind of insecure on the fact of where are we with our cap space. I just want to see these restructures come, so I can feel a little bit more comfortable and know who I can sign with these guys, because clearly there's going to be a couple cuts too at some point. There's going to be some veterans. We don't have much to cut, though, because we got a lot of guys to replace. So I want to know where this money's coming.
Yeah, well, I mean, the money's going to come from the voided contracts coming up for like Jack Conklin, David Njoku, those guys, and the post-June first cut designations and all that. And they'll restructure Deshaun. They'll restructure Denzel Ward. So the cap space will be fine. For me, when you're talking about this compared to what we would have had to do with Rasheed Walker from the Packers, the free agent there, the left tackle. who I've been skeptical about in terms of what his market value is going to dictate that a team would have to pay him. I just don't know if it's worth it for the Browns. And for him, it's more like he's being projected at a 4-year deal. And I guarantee there'd be more guaranteed money in his contract than what I again, haven't seen the numbers. I don't think they've come out yet. But the way Andrew Berry does these contracts, this thing is going to be so backloaded that, by the time, I'm trying to think how I want to word this, I don't know if he'll be here all 3 years of this contract, I guess is what I'm saying. He'll probably be a guy that we can move on from after a year or two if we need to, and it won't be that big a deal. So that's where it differs to me. I know the 63 is kind of like instantly like, oh, geez, we really paid this guy, but I don't think we really did. Again, it comes down to the guarantees. We'll see what that ends up coming out to.
Yeah, that's a great point, and it's what they can fit in this year versus what they put next year. And there's all those ways that they handle contracts these days. So we did it with Deshaun. We paid him $1 million for the first year, and then he got the rest of his $229 million for doing nothing. But anyways, we'll let that go.
Yeah, I mean, I saw a post from Jack Duffin. He posted what the salary cap growth is projected to be. I think it was over the next 5 years, and I forget the exact numbers, but it was something close to like $100 million increase over the next 5 years. Like, that's insane. So whenever Andrew Berry does these contracts, it is a smart way to do it. Like, all right, I'll pay you with the money from 5 years from now. That's how I'll structure this contract, because we're going to have, 5 times more money in 5 years or whatever it is, so it makes sense to do it the way they do it. That's how they're able to still sign guys, extend guys. We've talked about this. I mean, despite the big bust of the Deshaun Watson trade and his contract, it still hasn't prevented the Browns from signing or extending, trading and extending anybody that we've wanted to. So that just shows you that the way they're structuring these contracts, again, it makes sense and it works with the way the cap moves.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's a great point, because I mean, I think they're always going to have like 6 to 8 guys that they're always going to kick the can down the road. I think the stressful part for most of us is the 1-year contracts, right? I think the offset of the restructuring is that you find guys on 1-year deals, and there's not a lot of mid stuff, right? And the mid stuff is your rookie contracts. And that's kind of how they do it. And just the 1-year starting stuff, I'm just like, who do we have on the team? And especially, we've been talking this year, those 32 expiring contracts, you think in your head, like, are we going to be able to fill the team this year? And of course we are, but you want the best people on the team, and, you're going to wonder where that money's coming from. But I know it'll come, but sometimes the instant reaction is like, oh God, this is too much money. What are we going to do?
The reason we're in the position we're in too, where we got these 32 expiring contracts and nobody to fill those spots, right? We don't have any depth. We don't have anybody in the wings waiting to take over a starting spot, or anybody who's developed, because our drafting has been piss poor. If you really look at it, and it's rounds like 3 through 5 where you need to find, and I'm not saying you got to find Pro Bowlers, but you need to find guys who can start, or guys who can play significant time or be a contributor to your team. And we just don't have that. We don't find those guys in the 3rd, 4th, 5th rounds until, last year we kind of did, with like Harold Fannin in the 3rd round. But even that, then we used the next one on Dylan Gabriel. So it was a wasted pick. It drives me nuts. And then I see all these people now talking, well, I think the Browns are definitely going tackle or offensive line at least at 6, and they're going to bypass wide receiver. Maybe they'll trade for a wide receiver. This is where we get screwed, because we need a top-level wide receiver on a rookie contract with up to 5 years of control, and where the money is not outrageous. We're not on the hook for all this cap allocation for the next 5 years with a rookie, and he can be a legitimate wide receiver 1 for your team. We've never had that. When have we ever had that kind of player?
We've never had it, and it drives me nuts. I've been watching the Browns since '85, and the only guys that we've ever drafted is Braylon Edwards and Corey Coleman. That's the only ones I can remember. We literally got lucky when we got Flash Gordon, through the supplemental draft, because he would have been a number 1 pick had he not been a mess, I guess. And but yeah, we just don't do it. Like, I can even remember watching the Belichick years. Like, the guy freaking drafted Tommy Vardell, a fullback, Eric Turner was awesome. Then they drafted, Steve Everett as center. Then we get one of his disciples, Mangini, like 20 years later, and was his first draft pick, a center. And I'm like, damn, why do we keep picking these guys? Like, I know sometimes you need those first round offensive linemen, but like between the Barkevius Mingos and like, you could have just got some receivers at some point, like, come on, let's pick one, do it for everybody. Pick Tate or nothing.
It's crazy. Hang on. Go ahead and talk for a second. I'm about to cough. This cold, guys, will not go away.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no problem. Actually, you know what? One thing, we were talking about free agents, Josh and I, last week, and I'd like to say that ESPN agrees with me, with Rashid Shaheed, that the Browns should sign him. And now they brought up a good point that I did not bring up. Other than his return value is fantastic, as well as being a receiver, but no receiver eclipsed his 687 receiving yards last year, which is, kind of a shame, but he would have been our number one receiver with the amount of yards he got last year. So
yeah, I would love it
on you, ESPN, for bringing that up.
I mean, there's people in comments on social media and stuff I'll talk to, and they're like, wow, we should go sign Rashid Shaheed. I'm like, yeah, we should. I would love it. Why would he come here? That's the thing. Like, you do have to look at it from the perspective of these other guys, and he's a guy, he doesn't have a ton of contract opportunities left in his career. How old is he? 27? 28? 26?
26, maybe.
So, I mean, if he gets a 3-year deal, I mean, you're looking, that might be about it for as far as a big-time contract for a guy of his status in the league. So, yeah, you're not going to swing, your odds on a team that doesn't have a quarterback, doesn't have an offensive line, all that kind of stuff. He's going to go somewhere else.
This episode is partnered with Kalshi. Browns fans, are you ready to put your money where your predictions are? With Kalshi, America's #1 regulated prediction market, you can legally trade on events that actually matter to you. And the best part is you don't need to predict specific stat lines and compile a 7-leg parlay just to win big. With Kalshi, the objective is either yes or no. Will Shedeur Sanders be the Browns' Week 1 starting quarterback? Will Fernando Mendoza be the first overall pick in the draft? Will the Browns make their pick at 6, or will they trade out of that spot? And in other sports, will the Cavs win the NBA Finals? You can put your money on these predictions and more with Kalshi. If you want to try it out, Kalshi is giving $10 to anyone who signs up at kalshi.com/dogs and trades $100. Get away from disadvantageous sports books and dive into real-world outcomes with real-time odds and real payouts. Head over to Kalshi, KALSHI.com/dogs, DAWGS, or just click the link in the description to get $10 when you trade $100 with Kalshi. Because why shouldn't you get paid for being right?
So I see a lot of quarterback conversation going on over here. So does anybody, I see, okay, we do have a hand up. So Hobo Dirt, all right, we'll get you up here to talk, and then let's go from there. What's going on?
What is up, guys? It is Liam.
Whoa, someone bringing the picture.
Oh, it's Liam.
Nice.
Hey, man, nice to meet you. It's great to have a face with the name and the voice. Cool.
It's nice to meet you guys. But talking about
brother.
quarterbacks, I came here. I want to talk about quarterbacks, particularly Ty Simpson and all the buzz that he's been getting about potentially being a top 12 pick, some guys are saying. So I was wondering what you guys would think about taking him early in the drafts. Because me personally, I'm completely against this.
Well, okay, first of all, why are you against it?
You and I are talking the same stuff, my man. I am totally out. I do not want to put any more resources in the quarterback position. Last year, we put resources into Kenny Pickett, then traded it and got it back. Then we got Dylan Gabriel. Then we got Shedeur, and we put 2 resources into him, plus all the stuff that we have with DW on the team. So I really don't want to invest any more money. I need to put something around a quarterback and know what they can actually do. So that would be receiver, offensive line, because I don't need any more running backs. I'm good there. Maybe a tight end, but like throw some stuff around a quarterback so you can actually develop one.
And I agree. I think that as of right now, even with just Shedeur and Deshaun, we already have one of the messiest quarterback situations in the whole NFL because we really don't know which of those guys is going to start. But then by adding another first round pick quarterback to the mix, it just makes it so much worse because then you got 3 guys who you have no idea who's going to be your starter. And then you just know the media is going to be like, as soon as Deshaun or Shedeur do something wrong, like, oh, well, it's time for Simpson. And like, I just don't want to have to deal with that for a whole year, especially if Simpson ends up not being that great.
If you take,
oh my God, yeah, preaching to the choir, man. Go ahead.
I'm gonna say, if you take a Ty Simpson, any quarterback, I mean, he'd be the only one at 6. That's your guy. I mean, he might not start the season, but that really slams the door on Shedeur. And you'd probably start with Deshaun as the veteran. And then once things go south, or the team's just not winning very many games, or they're just ready to move to the rookie, your 6th overall pick is going to be your guy, and he's going to be your guy for at least 2 or 3 years to give him a chance. At least most teams do. So yeah, I'm so hesitant with these guys that were 1-year starters in college anymore. It worries me, it concerns me. And there was a point this season where I was watching Alabama games, I was watching Ty Simpson, I was like, damn, this guy looks pretty good. Like, I could see him being a first-round pick, and maybe we'll see how the rest of the season goes. Maybe the Browns could end up with him or whatever. And then obviously he got hurt, and things just kind of started to fall apart there for the Crimson Tide, and he didn't do so well those last few games. But he was on a heater for a little while there, which is interesting. I see Trent in the chat said something about it's a smoke screen, maybe seeing if somebody's going to trade up. I could totally see that too.
I was thinking that too. Yeah, 100%.
And Josh, I heard earlier you asked why I'm a Browns fan, I think, as soon as I joined. And the reason is because I started watching football in like 2017-ish, and I didn't have a favorite team, but I had a favorite player, and it was Odell Beckham Jr.
Okay.
So like once he got to the Browns, that's when I was kind of like, okay, I guess I'll have to cheer for this team. And like, we all know how that went, but I just decided to stick with him since. So yeah.
Well, good for you for sticking with the Browns.
Nice.
Even though
you got this sickness, my man.
Yeah. And then my dad's a Bengals fan too, so it's like there's not a lot of happiness going around here. And we're from like, I don't know why we chose the Ohio teams. Like we live in Calgary, Canada, so I just don't know. I guess it's weird that we chose those teams, but we stuck with him. He's been a Bengals fan since like '85. So
yeah, I grew up. I'm in Ottawa, Canada, and but I grew up across the lake from Cleveland, so we went there when I was young, and I got all their stations, all their media growing up, like all their radio stations. You just become a Browns fan and listening to them. The biggest thing I remember about the Browns growing up across the lake is when the Browns won, which was a lot when I was young, because between 85 and 90 they won a ton of games. There was songs, there was t-shirts, there was everything, and there was the dog pound, man, and that was like so awesome to be a part of that time, man. The Bernie Kosar years were amazing.
Oh,
I wish I got to see winning, bro, as a Browns fan, but hopefully it'll come soon, you know?
Yeah, we did get a taste for it. We had a taste for what it could be like in 2020, and then that stretch in 2023 when Joe Flacco came in here was a lot of fun. One thing, I guess we could talk about it here real quick. One thing I wanted to bring up, I've said this before too, but when we were talking about the trade for Tytus Howard, number one, trading with the Houston Texans always scares the hell out of me because it hasn't worked out yet. Deshaun Watson didn't work out. Cam Robinson didn't work out. But then I go back to what I've said before, where I'm so curious to see this season's super interesting to me because I want to see what the Browns look like with Todd Monken and a whole new offensive staff. I want to see what the Falcons look like with Kevin Stefanski and essentially the Browns coaching staff down there. And it's, they're going to bring Joe Flacco back and maybe they'll trade for Dylan Gabriel. I wonder how much of the crappy play we saw from our offensive line, from everybody the last couple seasons, was Kevin Stefanski. I really do, because those were the 2 years that we didn't have Alex Van Pelt, and those were the 2 years everybody sucked.
Like, I think that Stefanski isn't going to do great in Atlanta, if I'm being completely honest. Like, that guy, you guys know Pumpkinhead, obviously. I remember on Pumpkinhead's Instagram, he said something about just like the whole time, like he just never believed that Stefanski was a true leader of men and that he can inspire a room. like when things go south, it's like he loses the room instantly. It's pretty much over for them. And like I kind of agree with that. And when you go to a team like Atlanta, that is definitely far from being like a elite team. Like they have their weapons there with like Bijan, London, Pitts, but like there's still a lot of pieces that need to be added there. So like you bring Stefanski into that like mid team, like I'm not sure that he's going to be able to like really turn things around the way they expect him to.
Well, Colton in the chat says his head coaching grade doesn't lie. I mean, that C- grade that he got on the NFLPA report card, lowest head coach or lowest graded head coach in the entire league. So the players kind of spoke there a little bit about that.
It's telling.
Yeah, it is telling. You're right. Okay.
I also got a little bit more about the Houston trade there. So they traded us Brock Osweiler, 2017 second round pick and a 2018 sixth round pick. And we got obviously Brock Osweiler. We cut him so we could swallow that cap for them. But we also got Deshaun Kaiser out of that as well. So that was like 2 kicks in the nuts, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I like the Howard trade. The weird thing about it to me is that like we only had to give up a 5th round pick, which is like, why were they so eager to get rid of him if he's this good pass blocker? And like you said earlier in the show, like the Houston offensive line, it like kind of sucks. They need offensive linemen, so the fact they just were willing to ship this guy off just for a 5th round pick is kind of interesting. But I do have faith in him. Like his plug and play ability is really there. Like, considering how much they paid him, he's probably going to play one of our tackle spots, probably right tackle. But like the versatility is huge when you have a guy like him. So yeah, I'm excited about it.
Yeah, he'll definitely start. He'll be one of our starters, and that's good. We need 5 new ones, so now we got 1, so that's good. Yeah, I saw Jake Burns on Twitter from Browns Film Breakdown. As soon as the trade happened, he posted and he said, "Stop trading with Houston." And Kenny, I'm glad you brought up that Brock Osweiler mess, man. I forgot about that.
Dude, I was actually at the preseason game, saw him play, and Deshaun Kaiser. We actually beat the Saints in the preseason, both of them.
Yeah,
sad.
Preseason champs, baby.
Every year for some reason.
Yeah. All right. Well, Liam, thanks for coming up here. Got a couple other people with their hands up, so we're going to get Jester up next. But, stick around. Maybe later if you want to come back up, we'll get you back up here. Nice meeting you, man.
Yeah. All right. Nice to meet you guys.
All right. So
brother.
That was Liam. Let's see. Where's Jester? He was next. We're going to bring him up. See what's going on here. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Awesome. How's it going?
Hey, my man. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Oh, more people using their cameras.
I love it.
Yeah, I was just wondering, Kenny, I'm completely down with the Shaheed thing. I think that's an amazing idea. Is there any chance you think we'd go with the younger version and go with Love at 6 after he worked out as wide receiver and running back?
Man, I don't think so. Here's the thing. There's 3 guys like that are blue chippers. I think Love would be one of them. It would be Tate, not Tate. What do you call it? Arvell Reese, and then Downs. But those guys aren't positions that people want to trade or really want to draft that high, especially when we got a guy like Junkins, for example. Would I love to have him on the team based on what he's done and what he's just presented in the combine? Man, like it'd be fantastic. And there's always a possibility that Junkins might not come back from the injury, but that seems like it's in a good spot right now. So what those guys need to do is we need a weapon, and we need weapons on our perimeter, specifically receiver, and take one high, because like we were saying earlier, we only have had Braylon and we had Corey Coleman, and that's it. Let's throw a couple more in there. High draft picks, get some guys that can get separation, can win 50-50 balls, and who cares if he didn't run a 4.4. It's like a point of a second off And we had Jarvis, who was a baller. He ran a 4.6.
Yeah.
You know, Puka Nakua 4.54, I believe, and 4.56 or something like that. It doesn't matter. It's how you get separation, how your coaches scheme you open, and those 50-50 balls. Because even Puka, man, he's 6'1". Is he not 200 some pounds or 196? Something similar. At the time of the draft, anyway.
That's why I was wondering if he could play receiver, because he's 6 foot 214. They said so. He's bigger than Mackay, a little bit smaller than Tate.
6 foot 2.
But
he'd probably be like he'd have flies like unreal. He'd be like Juju Schuster-Smith, right? Like there's not, you can't say that he can't do it, but based on his ability to play running back, that would be way more tantalizing for a team like the Chiefs or somebody that really needs a running back, and they can split him out wide. But for what the Browns need, they just need receivers, man. And I just don't think Monk is going to put him at receiver. Yeah, true right out.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Good.
Right on, man.
Good
Thanks
hearing
for
from you.
coming up.
Nice meeting you.
Nice meeting you. Take care.
You too. All right. So
Yeah, cheers.
that's awesome. We got a couple first-time people back to back here using their cameras. Adam is up next. Adam from El Paso.
Hey guys.
Oh, what's up, buddy?
Hey, what's up, big dog?
Cooper.
Hey guys, Cooper Bellman back. Lorenzo Styles from Ohio State ran a 4.27 Should we draft him? Which pick should we use?
All right. So Lorenzo Styles, you're talking about this.
Andrew Barry's gonna. I was gonna say I don't think Barry's gonna pick him high. So if he falls at 24, maybe, but I don't see him picking him in the first round. I can see why you like him though, man. I thought he did amazing at the combine, and I agree with you that he's an awesome player. But with what we need, I'm gonna go back to what I said to the last guy. We need a receiver, buddy, and we're gonna get Carnell Tate, unfortunately. There he is.
Hey, boys, how you doing?
Good. How's it going, guys?
Good,
Hey,
man.
so-
How you been?
Good. Hey, so since Cooper's got his question out of the way, I gotta ask, because I've been listening to the previous episodes. If the scenario came up where you have the number 6 pick in the draft, and you could take that pick and draft Carnell Tate, or you could trade that pick to Arizona and get Marvin Harrison Jr., which one are you taking?
I think I take Marvin Harrison. If he came out in the draft right now, he'd be the number 1 prospect based on what he did in the draft 2 years ago. And I think it'd be a no-brainer.
That is a very good question, because I'm sitting here going, I like Marvin Harrison a lot. I do think he's got top of the ceiling upside in the NFL. I feel like you could get him for a better pick than 6 though, just because of the 2 years of disappointing performances in Arizona and everything. And then there's the unknown with Carnell Tate. You get the 3 extra years or 2 extra years of the rookie contract. That is a tough one. I don't know if I'm going to answer.
It is tough. Yeah, I would take Marvin Harrison Jr. just based on his size, his speed, his abilities to catch the ball. I just feel like he's a better receiver.
His pedigree
than Carnell Tate.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I'm with you too, Kenny. I agree 100%. If he was in this draft, he'd definitely be the top prospect at wide receiver, and he would probably go top 6 picks. So yeah, Marvin. The thing is, everyone's down on him just because, and I said this on the podcast the other day, like he didn't break out in his first 2 years. That doesn't, these guys with this athletic profile and his ability, it's going to happen. It's going to happen this year, or it'll happen next year. Like I said, Devontae Adams was a 4th-year breakout. A lot of these guys are 3rd-year breakouts. It's not as common to get those first year, this guy's an elite superstar wide receiver, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase. Those don't happen all the time. It's more often than not the 2nd, 3rd, 4th-year guys that really break out.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
totally
Justin
agree with you guys.
Yeah, Justin Jefferson had Kirk Cousins, and he was great. And then now, while he still puts up good numbers, I mean, it'd be better if he had a consistent quarterback, right? And that's a problem with Marvin Harrison Jr. Now, to convince him to come over here when we have our own quarterback issues, that might be a tough thing because I don't know how much control he has or what say he would have if he were to get traded. I also think the Arizona Cardinals probably don't want to let him go based on the value that he's at still on his rookie contract, but who knows? I mean, maybe they just want to do a clean slate too. So we'll see.
Yep.
All right, boys. Yeah, I appreciate it, man. And I always enjoy the show. And as promised in the Discord, I have to end it with fuck Vinty.
Sticking true to it. I love it, man. All right. Well, it's good hearing from you guys. Good seeing you guys. Tell Cooper he did a great job. And now let's get Colton up here. Colton,
good job, man.
Yeah, I know. I love hearing from all you guys. I love doing these shows. These Discord live shows are the best. Let's see. Colton. Okay, there we go. Got him up here now.
All right. Let's fit with the trend tonight.
Everybody's doing video. I love it. This is great.
Wow. 4-4.
Yeah,
bud.
I got the football background going in this hotel, so we're good to go.
So what's going on, man?
Hey, all right. So my question. So I think Josh has officially sold me on Omar Cooper Jr. Really, really liking him.
Yeah.
If he's at 24, I think he's the receiver I'll take in the first round. So that leads me probably to what you're thinking. So at 6, what do we do? Do we take what would be the best offensive tackle available, or do we take the best defensive player available at 6? The hole that I'm thinking we could really fill at 6, if he's there, would be Caleb Downs. Would you be willing to take Downs at 6 over an offensive tackle that you could plug in and play right away?
It depends for me what we do in free agency, number one. I think we should get some kind of veteran that can play both positions if one of the safeties were to go down. But yeah, man, like I look at that pick every time and when I do a mock draft and when I see him sitting there, even if Tate's there, I'm like, oh, that guy's so good. He's so good and he would be so good on our defense. And I'm really stuck on the offense right now. It was so awful watching the offense the last 2 years. I got to snap myself out of that and stop being like wanting that be that guy that wants the defense to be even better. You got to if the Browns could just be mediocre this year with the defense that we still do have, like I think we can be in contention for the division just based on the fact that everybody else seems to be in a rebuild. Except for the Bengals, of course, but then you never know where their defense is because while they can score 40, they might let 48. Like, who knows, right? So that's why I think we might have a chance to be in contention. And we seem to have a coach, I don't know yet, but, I mean, he talks a good game and he can scheme guys open. So I got to stick with my guns, stick the offensive lineman, and get some guys that can move some people and protect the quarterback. So we were saying earlier, so it can actually evaluate a quarterback and find out if they're good.
Yeah.
You know?
No kidding. I mean, for me,
Fair enough.
I still want Carnell Tate at 6, but if, and I'm expecting the Browns to go more the offensive line route. So I'm kind of torn looking at that direction between Francis Mauigoa and Monroe Freeling, because we talked about him earlier in the show. I think he's going to go so much higher now. I mean, he's been rising up draft boards and now the combine performance, like the dude's a freak athlete. And for me, I like him a little bit better because he's a left tackle. He played left tackle in the SEC at Georgia and he played very well in 2025. So I know there's some talk about Mauigoa potentially moving into guard if his, the arm length and the size and everything, maybe he could be guard. He's such a good lineman that I would be okay going either way. And I'm okay doing that as long as you're getting a guy like Omar Cooper Jr. at 24, because for me, he's moved up my rankings. I have him over like Casey Concepcion. I think that Omar Cooper is going to be a freaking dog in the NFL. I might even have him over Denzel Boston. I'm not sure yet, but I really like this kid.
I've seen how he's rising, and he's risen past him. As far as Monroe Freeling, I don't know if you saw the latest PFF. We were just discussing before we started this. They have the Browns taking him at 6. Just looks so explosive in his on-field drills. Like, who cares about the 4.93 40-yard dash and the 9 foot, 7 foot broad jump? Let's just say he's athletic, man, and that athletic potential for a offensive tackle is exactly, from what I've heard in the pressers, that Moncton's looking for. Regardless of the fact that he went to Georgia and probably recruited him, the guy seems like he's a freak, because what was his RAS? His RAS was 9.9, wasn't it? And that's big when you're talented and you played in the SEC against the Dawgs, you know?
Yeah, I think he was the number 2 left.
Absolutely.
Number 2, number 2 left tackle Raz since 1987 or something like that. It was insane. And the thing is, like, I know like the athletic testing at the combine and everything, people can get carried away with that. But for me, when it backs up what you did on the field in college, that's when it's like, okay, now I'm like really sold on this guy, because not only did he perform very well in college, he's got the measurables and the athletic testing now to go with it. And that's what makes like a really high-end prospect, in my opinion. And I think Freeling's going to probably go top, I don't know, by the time it's all said and done, top 15 at the least.
Yeah, he could be. And it just to your guys' points on Omar Cooper Jr., I mean, we're seeing him originally at the end of the second round. PFF has him now going to the Los Angeles Rams at 29 just to replace Devontae Adams. So, man, if we can get him at 24, I like what I'm seeing. 4.2 and the 37-inch vertical is what I meant to say. And he just checks off all the athletics. He's got a higher ceiling than they thought originally. So, I mean, if the Rams are looking at him for a succession plan for Devontae Adams, I think we should have a succession plan, since we didn't have Adams, just to get a Devontae Adams. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There's another guy at receiver I'm thinking of late, and it's Bryce Lance. So his RAS score is a 9.98. And he also scored first in the athletic scoring for the NFL draft. So he's one that's projected a 5th-round pick right now. We still have 2 of those left. So I would be more than happy to spend a 5th-round pick on this guy. What was he? I think he was 6'3", just big as can be. Mm-hmm. Yeah, 6'3", 32 and 1/8-inch arms, 204. I mean, just big as can be. Now, the argument's always going to be said, North Dakota State. So he's Trey Lance's brother.
Trey Lance's little brother. Yep. And I'll tell you what, does he look like Trey Lance? Holy crap, do they look alike?
Yeah. So they're always going to say, he played against FCS competition. So this could be padded stats or inflated stats, whatever it might be. But, I mean, the guy's a freak of nature. So if you're able to get him in and play him at, let's say, an X role, I would be really excited to see what Monken could do with him. And just looking off, what Rashard Bateman did in that offense, I'd see him maybe filling that kind of role. So I would much rather see Bryce Lance in a Browns uniform than Cedric Tillman, because I know one's going to be on the field, the other's not going to be.
That's very true, man. I mean, excuse me, guys. Sorry. So, there's a couple guys, and it's funny because they're both from smaller schools, so it almost takes them off Andrew Berry's draft board, because he just does not draft a lot of small school guys over the last 6 years, but Bryce Lance, I am coming in and liking him a lot more, and I really like Ted Hurst from Georgia State. So we'll see if Andrew Berry's willing to swing on one of those guys, maybe in the mid-round range, but I like both of those receivers quite a bit. I like them as my second receiver I'm taking in this draft. I got to get a dog in the first round.
100%.
I know you really like Skylar Bell too.
Thank you for bringing that up. School? Yes, I do. I do like Skylar Bell a lot. Yeah, UConn. Yeah, another smaller school for football and everything. But man, his numbers, like in his deeper metrics and everything, when I broke all that down, I was looking. I'm like, this kid can freaking play football. My goodness.
Yeah, he had a really good combine there. Looking at some of his
the athletic testing backed it up. Yeah.
100%. Yeah, I'm happy, either three of those guys. Let's just get some depth at wide receiver and see what we can do from there. A healthy competition in that room is not going to hurt us after what we've seen over the past 2 years.
No kidding, man. I'm telling you guys, if we go into this thing, and I saw the post the other day, I forget who put it out, about the Browns being, very encouraged by Jerry Jeudy, and they expect a bounce back, and they think he can get back to what he was in 2024 under Todd Monk and yada, yada, yada. I'm like, if the Browns roll into 2026 going, yeah, we're good with Jerry Jeudy as our wide receiver one, we believe in him bouncing back, you guys failed the offseason. Failed it. That is a mistake, in my opinion, to think that he's your wide receiver one. We can't do that. Can't do that. Not again.
Nope.
No, not at all. I think it just cements even more. You have to draft a receiver with one of these 2 first-round picks because the free agency market is completely dried up, and whatever trade target that you're going to go after and have to get going to be a high asset pick, and then you're going to have to extend them off the rip. So it's so difficult to do. You have to draft and develop.
Yeah. Yep. And that's what we have struggled with so much in the past. And, and it goes back, my whole thing with Kevin, I was thinking about this earlier today too. It feels like we talk about this all the time. Andrew Berry has not seemed to have much of an issue drafting defensive players or trading for defensive players, signing defensive players to come in here and do pretty well, especially with those more premium picks and things like that. We were able to build a good defense. We also had a really good defensive staff and a good defensive coordinator. How much of the offense's, lack of development and poor play on the field was just because we didn't have good coaching? I don't know. We're hopefully going to find out a little bit more about that this year, though.
This episode is sponsored by ButcherBox. Browns fans, with all the free agency and draft talk, that spring is right around the corner. And there's no better feeling than stepping into that sunshine, ripping off that old cover, and firing up the grill. And ButcherBox has the perfect deal for you to get the best meat onto that grill this spring. Head to butcherbox.com/dogs, DAWGS, right now, and new users will get their choice between free chicken breast for a year or ground beef in every box for the lifetime of their subscription. And if you're just placing a one-time order, make sure you guys use promo code DAWGS, DAWGS at checkout to get our podcast discount. With ButcherBox, you get to choose your box and how often it's delivered. With the custom classic box, for example, you get exactly what you and your family need for the warmer weather. Choose from over 80 different products, including meat and seafood. Plus, you can manage your entire subscription online and change your box type, product selections, frequency, or delivery date anytime. Shipping is always free. Deliveries come straight to your door on your schedule, and you can cancel anytime. So what are you guys waiting for? Head over to butcherbox.com/dogs right now. New users, you guys are going to get your choice between free chicken breast for a year or ground beef in every box for the lifetime of your subscription. And again, if you're just placing a one-time order, use promo code DAWGS at checkout for our podcast discount. That's butcherbox.com/dogs.
Since 1989, Mount Hope Fence has set the standard in outdoor living. From decks and railings to fences and patios, we've got you covered. Our lineup features top brands like TimberTech, AlumaGuard, Preferred Railing, and Unilock, along with our own premium Duralux vinyl products. For over 30 years, we've partnered with contractors ensuring reliable job site delivery. Discover quality and excellence in all things outdoors with Mount Hope Fence.
I know, clamored for Chad O'Shea to get fired for years and years and years. So let's see what we can do now.
Yeah, exactly.
He's a Chiefs problem now, man.
That's right. Still crazy. All right, Colton, anything else? Stacy's got her hand up, so we're going to bring her up next.
Nope. Let the Queen of Cleveland up. Thanks, guys.
All right, man. Thanks. Good to see you. Good to see you. Good to talk to you. I love this.
Good seeing you.
Seeing everybody, talking to everybody. Stacy, hey.
Thanks. Oh, making me blush over here. What's going on, guys?
How you doing?
Hey, man. How you doing?
I just Good. I just wanted to comment on because you were speaking about like Andrew Berry and his drafting with the defense and how he obviously didn't have an issue drafting for that this past year. But I still have a theory that Andrew Berry was in some way, shape, or form just trying to screw Kevin Stefanski. I don't know. I just think that them two, for some reason, they just at some point started clashing and banging heads, and he was like, "Fine, then I'm just not going to draft any offensive players, and you can deal with what you have. You can deal with Jerry Jeudy, Jamari Thrash, Cedric Tillman, and see what you can do." That's just a stupid theory that I always just joke about. So I am interested to see though how this draft comes around. It seems like him and Monken have a good relationship. I don't know. I still have a little bit of a weird feeling about if Andrew Berry wanted Shieldhouse a little bit more than Monken, and Monken was a owner pick, but from interviews and all that, all the press conferences and stuff, it kind of seems like them two are on the same page, which would be really nice. So that being said, I think that we all know Monken and his tight ends and how much he focuses on them. And I mentioned this a little bit in the Discord, but how do we think / how do we feel if we were to go, what's his name? Sadiq?
Mm-hmm.
Tight end,
yep.
At one of our picks here. I don't know which one. I think he's projected. I think he's projected towards the end of the first. So I guess it would have to be our 24. How would we feel about that?
Yeah, you're definitely not taking a tight end at 6. Go ahead.
No, I don't know about even at 24, just based on needs. But like, I can see why you'd be asking. He's 6'3", 241 pounds. Ran a 4.4, 4.35 vertical, and 1 broad jump. Like, the guy's athletic, and I mean, in your head, it'd almost be like the previous question, like, can he play receiver? You know, you might get into wild ideas like that, and I can see with that his athleticism why you would think that, but it would be a little bit of a reach just based on the way that we use Harold Fannin, and it'd be like drafting almost like Isaiah Likely, right? Like, you'd have two of the same tight ends where the way that I think he wants to do 12 personnel, eventually get to 11 a lot, but he's going to be 12 personnel this year. I think you need a guy like Kate Otten. You need a guy like Claire from Ohio State. And then you need a guy that just blocks. So what's the other Ohio State name? Ohio tight ends?
Kazmarek.
Name?
Joe Royer.
The block. Kazmarek, yeah.
I don't know. There's Royer from Cincinnati, but I liked him too.
Oh, yeah, and I like the kid from Notre Dame too. He's a big blocking tight end. But you need a guy that kind of can do both, and a guy that blocks only, and a guy that's a receiver. And I think that's what he's looking for mismatches. But again, like, I can see why you like the guy, because if he was on the team, I wouldn't cry about it, you know?
Yeah. So Kenyon Sadiq,
yeah. I like him for sure.
I was gonna comment the other night in Discord, and then I thought, well, I'll wait and maybe we'll do this on the show. And I'm glad you brought that up. Because there's some of the deeper metric stuff on him, and don't get me wrong, I think he's a great player. Obviously, he's a phenomenal athlete. But like, he had a 1.62 yards per route run. You guys know how I feel about anything under 2. I mean, that's not great to me.
Yeah.
6 drops last year, only a 58.3% contested catch. And he only forced 8 missed tackles. Like, for a big, strong, just freak athlete, tight end like this, I just would have expected those numbers to be a little higher. He just had a 4.9 yak per reception. I don't know. Some of those numbers just concern me a little bit about what he will be able to do as far as passing, or I guess receiving production at the NFL level. To use a premium pick on that when we have so many other needs, receiver and offensive line, obviously. Yeah, I wouldn't do it, but that's just me.
Yeah. No, I just brought up the idea. I definitely also would not do it. I just saw his scores and everything and how he performed in the combine, and I was like, just thinking that would be something the Browns could possibly do, because that's just something that they would do. I think it would be really stupid. I agree. I think what's his name? Kate Otten from the Tampa Bay.
Yep.
Yeah, I think he's a solid pick, and I think we can get him for a pretty good deal. So hopefully we're looking in that direction. But yeah, I just thought I would bring it up. But I think that I also feel like this draft, it's pretty decently deep in tight ends. I don't know. I
Yeah.
think that there's a couple options out there that you can get late in the rounds. So
No, I agree with you 100%.
I think we would be smarter to save that pick for receiver or offensive line for sure.
Like if you really want your athletic type of tight
And then
end.
I also
go ahead.
oh, sorry, go ahead. I was just saying, I also too, as far as other picks, I would like, I like that I think Rodriguez, is that his name?
Yes. Yep.
Yep.
I like him too, but yeah, that's all.
Yep. No, I was just going to say real quick, if you want like your more athletic type of tight end, that Eli Stowers from Vanderbilt would be a good pick. Max Clare, obviously from Ohio State. I mean, you're right. The tight ends are deep. Michael Trigg out of Baylor, Jack Endries, Texas. Oscar Delp is a guy to keep your on your radar. He's from Georgia. Said he would like to be reunited with Todd Monken. Enjoyed playing for him. This Sam Roush out of Stanford. And like you said, Joe Royers from Cincinnati. I still like Eli Raridan from Notre Dame. I mean, the list of tight ends, I mean, Tanner Koziol is a little bit later on. There's quite a few.
Jolly, I think.
Yeah. What was it? Justin Jolly. Either way. There's a lot. They're quite. I mean, they're not like your higher end.
He's a lot like Sadiq.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, Stacy. Anything?
I think like I said, we got to go wide receiver. No, we got to go wide receiver. We got to go offensive line. We got to get that sorted out first. Well, I'm interested to see what other free agent signings we have coming up.
Yep.
That's all.
Absolutely. Well, hey, it was good to hear from you. And then it's always good to be chatting with you in the Discord as well. All right. Yep. So, sorry, Stacey. Real quick, I know it's kind of late in the show to say it, but there's like a lag on this and then the internet or whatever we're doing here on the show tonight. So if you guys are out there and there's like some weird, awkward pauses,
100%.
And, some stretches of silence, the lag is really weird here tonight. But we got two more people with their hands up. We're going to try to do this rapid fire. I think Colton was first, so we're going to go there, and then we'll wrap it up with Liam right after that. So Colton, you got like 60 seconds. What's going on? What's in your mind?
Yeah, sorry, I was trying to get my video to go there. Hey, we're missing a big announcement today. We officially broke ground in Brook Park to build our new stadium set for 2029 opening. So just wanted, to plug that in, give us a little good news for early March and hear your guys' thoughts on what you're thinking of the new dome.
I'm ready. I am ready to get out of the weather.
I am pumped up for the dome. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I turned 50 this year, and every year I get 1 year older. Guess what I don't want to do? Sit in the elements. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. Sitting with, I went with Blake and John. We went down to Vegas, sat in a nice air-conditioned stadium. It was fantastic. I got family that live in Windsor, Ontario, Canada, and so we go to Detroit games, and you know what? It's fun to party out in the cold for 3 hours, 2 hours, whatever it is, 4 hours, and then another 4 hours for the game. I'm frozen, man. So I can't wait for this. This is going to be great.
Yep, I agree. I'm ready for the dome. And the thing is, we talk about all the time, and Blake complains more than anybody about it, but I'm with him. I agree with him on this. Getting in and out of Cleveland on game day is a nightmare. It's a nightmare. It takes freaking ever. I mean, it really is a full day if you're going to go up to a game, because by the time the game's over, you get to your car, you get out of the parking garage, wherever you are, and you get through the city. I mean, it takes forever to get to the highway to get moving. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah. It's funny that you bring that up, because somebody who doesn't live in Cleveland like myself, I'm like, yay, I can go run to Masthead or Noble Beast and have more beers. Yay. You know what I mean? So I don't have to sit in that and deal with it, because I just wait till the surge pricing for Uber goes down. Then I'll go out to Strongsville where I stay, where everything's cheaper. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Big time. Nope, that's all I wanted to mention.
All right, man. Well, thanks for that. I'm glad you brought that up, because it totally had skipped my mind that we broke ground today on the new stadium in Brook Park. So that's awesome. Liam, wrap us up tonight, buddy. What's going on?
I just wanted to talk about one guy that I really loved from the combine and ask your guys' opinion if you think picking him at 39 would be acceptable. And that's Max Ihe Nachor from Arizona State. I thought he was like absolutely amazing at the combine. Like he ran a 4.91, which I know the 40-yard dash is like basically useless, but he ran a 4.91, and his score, I forgot what the test is called, but the athletic score test or whatever, he was like something in like 9.91 or something like that. And it was just an amazing combine from him. And like me personally, that's who I would take at 39 probably. So I just want to hear your guys' thoughts on that.
I talked about him with Barry Shuck when I did the Senior Bowl stuff, and he was very impressed with him in Mobile. Looking into him, reading more about him, watching some tape, and then obviously what he did at the combine. I'm really high on this kid. You're right. How do you say it? It's Max Ianachor. I forget how exactly to say it, but I would totally be okay taking him at 39. The big question for me is, does he make it to 39? Because I feel like if there's a run on offensive tackles later in the first round, early second round, he's going to be part of that run.
Probably. And would you go Blake Miller or Ihe Nachor too? Because I've seen some mocks have us Blake. I don't know if Blake Miller will fall there too, but the choice between the two, I still think I'm taking Ihe Nachor. But those are two interesting guys for 39, I feel like.
Yeah, I'm probably taking
I don't know if Blake
Nachor.
Miller's as athletic. Yeah. 100%.
Yes.
He's just
want to get
more
you guys
athletic. That's
opinion
what
on
they're
him.
looking for, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know Blake Miller's
All right,
the
well, thanks for having me on, guys.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Good to hear from you again. Blake Miller's that hometown kid from Strongsville, Ohio. So obviously there's that connection. We didn't even talk about Drew Eller tonight, who said that he would love to play for the Browns, his hometown team, his favorite team growing up and everything, went to all the home games, yada, yada, yada. I'm probably going to put together some sort of quarterback video mini episode talking about some of these options for the Browns that have been floated around. We've got the Anthony Richardson stuff. Obviously, there's Kyler Murray. Tua Tagovailoa is going to be getting released here next week. There's just all kinds of quarterback nonsense going around. We talked about the Ty Simpson thing.
Somebody was asking about that.
Yeah. So we'll talk about all that stuff. I've got a mock draft 5.0, my post NFL Combine edition that I want to put out later this week. So there's all kinds of stuff going on. We've got a free agency. I cannot believe it's a week from today. Like time is flying by. It really is this offseason. So we'll see. We'll see what they're going to do. Oh, Jester. Yes. Dunker. Yes. Jennings Dunker. Yeah, I would love to have Jennings Dunker. I think that kid is going to be awesome in the NFL. He's a lot of fun to watch. So
is he a tackle or is he a?
So he played tackle.
Is he a tackle or is he a guard?
I think he played tackle for Iowa. I think played right tackle, but I think he's going to be a guard.
I think he'll be a guard though.
Yes, he'll be a guard.
Yes. Okay.
But again, you got the versatility there that, in a pinch, if you got to move a guy, kind of like the Texans have done with Howard all these years. He's your right tackle. We need somebody to play left guard, so they move him there for a couple games or whatever until that guy comes back. So you do have a little flexibility with some of these players. That's, that could be a positive for them on the draft board. So, all right. Well, thank you.
You just need one nasty guy on your line, and that would be a good guy.
Yes, he is. He is a mauling, nasty, violent lineman, and we do need that. We really do. We got to get back to being physical. Oh, that's one thing I did want to say. Todd Monken did have a quote. I mean, he obviously had his press conference, said a lot of stuff. The one thing I took away from it was he said, we're going to freaking hit. He said, I don't believe that you can play physical but practice soft. And I'm telling you guys, when I went to, I'm sure you guys went to training camp practices too and things like that. Soft practices, and it just felt like they're going through the motions and they weren't really accomplishing anything. And you saw it on the field then on Sundays. We're just getting pushed around and bullied, and it's like we need to be more physical and just be nasty, and I hope he holds true to that.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Made to hit people in football, man.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Well, we're going to get out of here. Thank you guys for tuning in. This whole leg is driving me nuts. Stacy said I felt like I was either getting interrupted or interrupting people. And it's like, no, just the leg is terrible tonight for whatever reason. But thank you guys for sticking it out, joining us here. And again, if you want to be part of these Dog Pack Discord live episodes, join thedawgs.com. Hang out with everybody you saw here on the screen, everybody that was in the audience. These guys are in the chat 24/7, just talking Browns, talking everything that's going on in sports and whatever else. It's a great time, great group of people. Join thedawgs.com. Kenny, thanks for being up here with me tonight, and we'll see you guys later this week. Let's go Browns.
Let's go, Brownies. Ho, 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 ho.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Dawgs Podcast. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Twitter at the Dawgs Podcast. Get your thoughts on the show at thedawgspodcast.com.
This episode is sponsored by ISSA. Browns fans, if you're into health and fitness, have you ever wondered how you could maybe turn those hobbies and your passion into an actual career? If that sounds interesting to you, then ISSA has the opportunity you've been looking for. ISSA is the International Sports Science Association, and they can help you become a certified personal trainer in as little as 3 months. And right now you can get $100 off your certification when you sign up through our link, joinissa.com/dogs, DAWGS. Now, certifications are 100% online, self-study, and self-paced. You can study anywhere from your phone, tablet, or computer. And the final exam is open note, open book, aka piece of cake. Except you fitness nuts probably don't eat a ton of cake, so let's just call it a piece of delicious protein bar. And ISSA has the #1 job guarantee in the industry. If you get certified and sign up to be a certified trainer with ISSA, you have a job guarantee or your money back. ISSA has over 10,000 gym partners that have over 73,000 open jobs for trainers right now. And you don't